Yeah, absolutely. So I think in general, the security aspect of, blockchain and kind of some of the security failings we've seen, really, it's really a case of blockchain basically being a victim of, I would say, its own success. Because, for instance, when we see kind of these big centralized exchanges being hacked and things like that, those of us that have actually been in the space since 2012, in my case, we all kind of knew better than to put lots of funds on a single key. It was kind of because there have been so many people that kind of came into the space only after the big price run up a few years ago that there's kind of a lot of these like bad design patterns, a lot of these bad security decisions that really aren't inherent to the technology. Actually, in almost every case, they have nothing to do with the underlying blockchain and just have everything to do with kind of pretty standard full stack security mistakes. But so kind of that's a little bit the space in general, but TOPL in particular, we kind of have the advantage of not focusing on the financial side of things first. So for instance, we look at blockchain having massive potential, again, both in certification and supply chain. It's kind of moving in one direction, but then also on the financial flows, on the payments basically, and things like that, moving in the opposite direction. Kind of, however, for reasons of adoption, for reasons of regulation, it's much simpler. It's a more straightforward path to do a lot of the supply chain things first. And there's just really not as much security to worry about when you're moving digital representations of physical goods. Because ultimately, stealing them, there isn't quite the same incentive there. So we kind of have this natural advantage not being in the finance space at the moment, at least. But I think kind of in blockchain, kind of those general problems, and it's always tough to try to kind of communicate this whenever it happens. Being a blockchain person, you always get asked when there's a big hack or something like that, you're asked to explain it. And what I always go back to is, well, no, the underlying blockchain is fine. It's all these things on top of it. And I think that narrative so often gets lost,
But
unfortunately.